It's not possible. I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
The Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 11:18. Our next case is Ms. Caitlin Lusage. Ms. Lusage, would you give us your full name and DOC number, please? You're on mute. We need to unmute you. Still can't hear you. Is that on our end or their end?
Okay, I think, okay.
We got it now. Good. I can hear you.
Caitlin Lusage, 629-149.
Thank you very much. Let me explain our process to you. First, we're going to do first I'm going to read some information into the record, and then we're going to do a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will allow those persons who wish to have input to speak. Present, I don't know who all will be speaking on your behalf. You're certainly allowed 3 speakers. I'm going to give you the list of the people that I know are here for you, and you can tell me who wishes to speak. Gina Lusage, your mother, does she wish to speak? Okay.
No, sir.
No, okay. Daryl Lusage, your dad, does he wish to speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Joshua Lusage, your brother, does he wish to speak?
No, sir.
Okay. Jaden Summer, your son, does he wish to speak?
No, sir.
Stephanie Canedo, your aunt, does she wish to speak?
Yes, sir.
Bruce Canedo, your uncle, does he wish to speak?
No, sir.
Stephanie King, your friend, does she wish to speak? And Carolyn Adams.
Adams. I don't have an Adams.
He's here. Okay,
I think they're here just for support.
Oh. Yes, sir.
Okay. And in opposition, we have Miss Brittany Arnold, Mr. Jay Arnold, and Miss Gretchen Henson. Once we conduct an interview and we hear from everyone, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. You understand our process?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Caitlin Lusage, the DOC number 629-149. Date of birth is July the 13th of 1994. She's a first-class felony offender. She has a parole eligibility date of June 15th of 2024, an adjusted good time date of March 23rd of 2027, full-term date of June 16th of 2054. She is currently serving a 40-year sentence on the charge of obstruction of justice, having been sentenced on September the 5th of 2014. Does that information all sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll begin the process of our interview process. Okay. How old are you, ma'am?
29.
And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
A little over 9 years.
So you were roughly 20 years old when this happened?
Yes, sir. Well, when I became incarcerated, I was 17 when my crime happened.
Okay, that's what I thought. But you were out for a while, then you came in 9 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about who you were at 17 years old. Tell me a little bit about yourself then. Were you in school? Did you finish school?
I was a senior in high school and pregnant with my son, Jaden. Yes, I was in school. Honorable student.
What were your living arrangements? Who were you living with?
My parents.
And you were pregnant at the time?
Yes, sir.
Were drugs or alcohol involved at all in any of this?
For me, no, but the drugs were stolen from
Drugs were part of the crime. I'm talking more specifically for you. Were you on drugs?
Sir.
Or had you ever taken drugs before or alcohol?
No, sir.
Tell me, I've read the report and I've read the statements, but tell me in your own words what happened.
On the day of the crime, I willingly got into the car with Andrew and Devin, knowing that they planned on robbing Miss King of drugs and money. And on our way there, I was asked to be the lookout, and I agreed to do it. When we pulled into the parking lot, I was asked to keep watch of any cops or any other people who lived in the apartment complex while they were actually robbing her. And that's what I did. I waited in the car while they robbed her. And later on, Andrew came out and got in the vehicle and told me that she was killed in the midst of the robbery. I was asked to drive us home. At that point, I stayed there. I put up money away that was stolen, a bottle of pills that was stolen, and I stayed put until he went back and came back with Devin. And at that time, I washed the clothes that were worn that day, as well as swept the floor, mopped the floor. I knew, what had happened, how it had happened. A few days later, the cops came and picked up Andrew. When they picked Andrew up, I took the bottle of pills and flushed them down the toilet and continued to get rid of evidence of the crime, trying to save myself.
Did you actually go to trial, or did you plead guilty?
I took a plea deal.
And so tell me what you've done while you've been in prison. You've been in prison now for 9 years. Tell me, what sort of programs have you taken that have helped you while you've been in prison?
I've taken many available programs, self-help programs, Thinking for a Change, anger management, celebrate recovery, as well as many educational programs. I was able to receive my bachelor's among welding and other things. I have a lot.
What programs do you think have helped you the most? I mean, you've taken some of our best programs. You've taken Thinking for a Change, Celebrate Recovery, Partners in Parenting, Living in Balance, Life of a Single Mom, Pre-Release. What programs have helped you the most?
I would say the biggest two are Thinking for a Change and MRT, but especially Thinking for a Change because obviously that's what I need to do more of. But I learned that I learned how to look at a situation in multiple perspectives, not just my own, how it's going to impact me, what decision I make, the consequences from it, the impacts of it, the effects on not just me but everybody involved in the situation. And I feel like that was the most beneficial class that I've taken. As well as MRT. MRT helped show me why I made some of the choices that I made as a 17-year-old, young, naive, and impressionable. And it has reiterated that not to change or do away with what I believe in and what my morals are for anybody in any circumstance.
Now tell me about your son, Jaden. What's your relationship with him now?
We are very close. I speak to him almost every day. They come to visit. He comes to the children programs. We're very close.
Where has he been living? Who has he been living with?
My parents.
Let me pull up something here for a second. Sorry. Tell me about the vocational work that you've done. I see that you've gotten construction site safety. You've gone to Ashland University. You've got welding. What are your vocational plans? What do you hope to do when you get out? What kind of work do you want to do?
I would really like to expound on welding. I have a passion for it and a love for it, and I'm pretty good at it. So I would like to try to get into that field upon my release at some point.
And what would be your transition plan? I understand you're going to be living with your mother and father in Slidell. Is that correct? Has that changed at all?
No, sir. That's correct.
And what about work? Where will you be working?
I have a part-time job available to me at Southeast Dental Laboratory, where I'll be working part-time. My parents have offered me my transportation to and from work. I'll either be doing warehouse work or delivery upon reinstating my license, doing some delivery work for them. but I will have that as soon as if given the chance at release.
Let's talk a little bit about your disciplinary record. You've been 2 write-ups the whole time you've been there?
Yes, sir.
Your last write-up, I think, was in 2018. What was that about?
That was a sex offense. It was a 21C.
You have a low risk, you have low needs, but you've got, there's a question of mental health needs there. Are you taking any sort of medication? Are you being treated for any sort of issues while you've been in prison?
I suffer with anxiety and depression. I've been on the same medication since before I started my incarceration, and I continue to take it every day, and it helps me. It's beneficial to me, and if possible, when released, I will continue to take it. But I've also found that Catholic Charities has a mental support group located in St. Tammany, so I plan on reaching out them for help in a mental support group for my anxiety and depression on my transition.
Now, during the course of your programming and the courses that you've taken, have you given any thought to what your role in that case, how that has affected the victims in this case, the family of the victim in this case?
Yes, yes, sir. I am fully responsible for not just knowing about it, but not choosing to stop it or say it was wrong. And I selfishly hid evidence instead of, I could have maybe helped or changed the scenario some, but I didn't. I chose to be a coward and save myself. I've learned that not only did I affect the victim personally, but her family and her friends, and not just that, but it's even broader that the apartment complex, the people who own it, they've suffered as well, financially or, publicly. I've ruined a lot of people's lives.
Your 2 co-defendants, Andrew Sumner and Devin Baham, did they go to trial or did they plead guilty? Were you involved in that trial at all, or their plea at all?
Andrew took a plea deal. I helped encourage him to take the plea deal. Devin went to trial, and I spoke against him at trial.
You actually testified at the trial against him?
Yes, sir.
They both are in prison now, both on manslaughter charges. Is that right? Both still in prison?
Yes, sir.
You may or may not know that. I'm just, I guess I'm telling you that. So, Gordon, what can you tell us about Miss Lucy?
She currently has a minimum 1 status, and she's a low risk score. She was 17 whenever, well, I guess she was closer to 20, but she was still really young when she got to us. She's only had those 2 write-ups in 8 years that she's been with us. She has taken a lot of classes. We currently use her doing outer perimeter work. So, she's a more trusted offender. She also volunteers and goes to the headquarters office on the weekends for cleanup details, waxing, mopping the floors and stuff after everybody's left. She has been in a lot of classes. She's been very active. The institutional record is good. She has like about 540 CTRP credits. So she's done what she needed to do once she's been here. And on top of that, stayed out of trouble for the most part.
Thank you, Warden. Appreciate your comments. Ms. Lusage, I asked the question, and I'm going to ask it again. So, because sometimes, even though we might be lawyers, we don't always ask questions. Sometimes we talk before we listen. I did ask you about drugs, and you did indicate that at the time of your pregnancy and everything, there were no drugs. Did you ever use drugs in the past?
No, sir. I did not.
So drugs or alcohol was never an issue with you. I mean, I know you've taken a lot of our very good substance abuse programs, Celebrate Recovery, Living in Balance, and they teach you all sorts of things, but many of them are aimed at substance abuse, but you didn't have a substance abuse issue.
No, I did not. But I did, however, learn that when I took those programs, such as Celebrate Recovery and substance abuse as well, I struggled with my own addiction through codependency. And that's something that I've learned to look out for the triggers for that. And I've learned, which is partial reason for why I made some of the mistakes that I did make and the choices that I made. But I've had a lot of growth in that area. And that is something that I will battle with, but that I'm very conscious about.
Very good insight. Good. Thank you. Now we'll hear from,
I have a question.
okay. Ms. Wise has a question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I do just want to state for the record, because it's kind of unusual, the judge, we reached out to the law enforcement community to get their opinion about early release, and the judge that we heard back from is unopposed to your early release, and I wanted to state that for the record. But there is some law enforcement opposition. There's an indication that you got 13 years of education. Tell me about that, your education.
Since being here, I was able to be part of the Ashland program through Ashland University, and I was able to receive my bachelor's degree in communication with a double minor. I had some transfer credits from Delgado when I was out on bond that were able to help me succeed in getting my bachelor's. So I put a lot of work into to my education since I've been here.
Well, congratulations, girl.
Thank you.
They can't be because I heard when you was talking to Mr. Marabella, you said that if you were a high school student when this happened, then you were an honor student.
Yes, ma'am.
The honor students just don't end up here.
No, ma'am. I actually was able to receive, I'm part of the National Honor Society as well through Ashland.
Right. Congratulations. That's all I had, Chairman. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from your dad, Mr. Darrell Lusage.
Morning.
Morning.
My name's Darrell Lusage, Caitlin's father. I'd like to start by saying good morning to the panel and everybody here. I'm not the best at making speeches, but for my daughter's sake here and now, it's of the utmost urgency. And I'm going to try to do my very best. I'd like to start by stating that Caitlin was still truly a very smart and kind person, just as she was when this awful journey of almost 10 years began. And that she has not wavered, not one bit since then. She was very young and not very street smart at the young age of 17 when this tragedy happened. And she was a senior in high school with excellent grades, honor roll student, with plans to further her education and possibly become a pharmacist. We would like the panel and also the parole board to know, as her parents, this has been very hard for us and her as well. But we believe, from all we know, since her incarceration, her character has grown even more so. She has continued to use her abilities well by staying upbeat and positive as much as possible under the circumstance. When she began her stay, she started out really quick, getting a job in a snack shack. At the same time, working as a mentor and a teacher for her fellow inmates to try to improve their learning abilities. She's taken and completed many courses while here. She's also gotten 2 college degrees as well. And I must say that speaks to being very self-motivated in a very bad situation. She will have all the support one could possibly imagine once leaving here. With all this being said, we would like to believe that Caitlin has been like a model inmate. She has done her time well, and we believe with almost a perfect record. She has told us on many occasions of how sorry and remorseful she is for everything that has occurred, and how sorry she is for the victim as well as their family. In closing, we believe that if the panel and the parole board could have it in their hearts to grant Caitlin parole at this time, she can and will be an asset to the community and everyone in it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll hear from Stephanie Canado.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
My name is Stephanie Canito, and my husband, Bruce Canito, is also here in Caitlin's behalf. We are the aunt and uncle of Caitlin and also her godparents, who we have been very close to since she was born. Caitlin is indeed the daughter that I never had. Caitlin is sweet, kind, caring, and believes in Jesus, and she definitely loves God. Caitlin has treated jail like a college, meaning that she has focused and she was determined to get the best education that she can and to stay out of trouble and to work on being the best in every aspect while she is in prison. Caitlin has accomplished so much in the 11 years, and she has continued to educate herself and continue to make the best out of the worst situation. Other importance to Caitlin is family. And the most important person to Caitlin is raising her beautiful son. Caitlin has done everything in her power to have a close relationship with her son, Jaden, while she is away, by constant phone calls to him. She emails him letters and plenty of pictures. So when she comes home, she can be the very best mother and role model for her son, Jaden, so they could live a healthy, honest, and loving life together. I would like the board to know that my 65-year-old retired husband and myself, who is 59 years old, are a part of her support group besides her mother, father, and brother. She also has large family members who adore her and love her and will support her for the rest of her life. Besides her parents' home, where Caitlin will be living once she's released, my husband and myself, we own our home, and we have opened our home to Caitlin to live at any time in her life with her son forever. We also have discussed and plan on being in every aspect of her life, including making sure we are involved in Caitlin's parole, making sure that she has love, support, and stay positive, and to always make sure that she has family to lean on in time of need, because we realize how hard she has been working on herself while she is in prison. And we truly know in our hearts how sorry she is and how she has grown and applied her time in prison the past years. When Caitlin is released, she can live a life to be proud of and to do great things for her community and for the love of God. And I beg you all, please consider this young girl for parole. And I promise you that I will be there for the rest of my life to support her in every way that I can. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we'll hear from the opposition, Miss Brittany Arnold.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello. Thank you for letting me speak today on behalf of my sister, Ashley. I understand Caitlin is up for parole and could potentially walk free today. I know she's a mother and wants to be reunited with her son. However, my sister Ashley was at a point in her life where she was recently engaged and ready to start her own family. She had always dreamed of being a mother. And because of the crime that was committed and the role Caitlin played in my sister's brutal attack, Ashley is no longer with us and will never be able to experience the joy of motherhood, nor will I ever have the opportunity to be an aunt, and my children will never have cousins to grow up with. You have no idea how much you have impacted our lives. She was only 32 years old and had so much life to live. Our family will never be the same without Ashley. And for that reason, I ask that Caitlin does not get granted parole today.
Thank you very much, Ms. Arnold. We appreciate your comments. Mr. J. Arnold?
Thank you. I'm Ashley's brother-in-law, and I'm speaking today because there are people that cannot speak today. You talked about anxiety and depression, and when Brittany just mentioned the impact that what your all's actions have on our life, it's not something that happened in 2012. It happens every day. You know, Ashley's poor mother suffers from severe depression. Her brother, they're so evil that hurt. And I understand the notion of justice, but I don't think it could be an attack, a robbery premeditated, where they went to her house. And can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Where they went and brutally murdered her, and then returned and burned the evidence, burned her body and the apartment complex down in an attempt to cover up their crime. So to say obstruction of justice is one thing, but this was a brutal attack that we believe was premeditated and just unforgivable. You know, you talked about some of the progress that you've made in the past few years, but we're not talking about the amazing person that Ashley was. She was a college graduate. She was an honor student. She was such a vibrant part of our community and our family that light was, you know, it lives on in our hearts because she was such a special person, but it can't be diminished what you took away from us, and how our kids and the peripheral family still suffers at every single holiday, at every birthday, and every anniversary of what happened. I just think that society needs accountability so that this kind of stuff can't happen again. And for those reasons, we don't feel like 40 years sentence, the 11 years after death is the debt paid.
Thank you, sir. You cut off towards the end, but we were able to understand exactly what you say and what you feel. So thank you very much for your comments. We'll now hear from Miss Gretchen Henson. You're on mute, ma'am. Still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Ma'am, we can.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for letting me speak today. I didn't really have anything like prepared to talk about this because nobody really prepares you for this. It's a daily thing that you deal with. And I have firsthand watched this family. Let me go back. I'm a very good friend of Ashley's. I was a very good friend of Ashley's, and I was older than Ashley, and I always wanted to protect Ashley. And so this goes really close to my heart. With that said, she was taken at 32 and my daughter's 34 now. And I just watched through my daughter the years that remind me of what Ashley could have had. And again, we all know that was taken. And today I feel like we're sitting here celebrating and Caitlin's accomplishments. And it's hard, you know, because while we're celebrating that, I can't help but go back to the day that this happened and the decisions that were made and that 3 people were involved. And you, I don't know, I guess as a girl, as a woman that was pregnant, that was in school, as you're saying today, and you had all this.
Simpson, you need to direct your
Okay.
speech to us,
Yep.
not to anyone else.
Okay, sorry. I just feel like we're looking at giving someone parole after 9 years, and she was given a 40-year sentence. And I think that is not enough time in my book. And I feel for the whole family, I can say that is not enough punishment at this point for what we deal with on a daily basis. You know, every day it's the little things. We all talk about the big things and the big reminders and the celebrations, but it's a daily thing. It's a daily struggle for us. And I just, again, I don't feel that 9 years is gonna really us any satisfaction in this whole thing. It still needs, she still needs to serve more time. And I hope that you guys can see how we are feeling on our end on that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Henson. We appreciate your comments. Ms. Lusage, is there anything, Ms. Lusage, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
Yes, sir. I wrote it down. I would like to say that I'm so very sorry for the pain and grief that I've caused the victim's family for all these years, as well as the hurt I'm once again causing them today by being here in front of this board, bringing back such horrible memories. I made a terrible choice years ago to go along with a plan, as well as to attempting to cover up a heinous crime I helped commit. It was senseless, I was selfish, and I'm ashamed. She did not deserve the injustice that was brought upon her. I am truly remorseful for my actions. I take full responsibility and accountability for what I have done. From the bottom of my heart, I am so very sorry for every moment of sadness and pain that I've caused the victims because of my actions. Although 9 years may not seem like a long time, I've had plenty of time to change. I've spent every moment of these 9 years of incarceration taking advantage of every possible program available to understand both why I made the choices and mistakes that I did, as well as to ensure it never happens again. I've made many changes as well as personal growth to better myself as both a woman and mother. If given the opportunity of release, I've secured employment as well as stable residency with my support system that is present today. I will also take full advantage of outside support during my transition into society. I just ask for the chance to prove to you that I am a much better person today, standing in front of you than the 17-year-old child that I was. I just ask for the opportunity to be a mother and raise my son actively. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Panel ready to vote? First off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today and speaking, and especially Ms. Arnold and Mr. Arnold and Ms. Henson. We have heard what you said. I can't imagine, I've lost people, but not in the way that you've lost them. I can't imagine the pain and the grief and the hurt that you feel. And we have heard you today. And Ms. Henson, your friendship certainly has come through, and you all three have made some very valid points. And you know, as a parole board, everybody has their role in this operation. Law enforcement has their role, the prosecutors have their role, the judge has their role, the legislature has their role, and we have our role as well. And part of what we must consider is the crime in this person's involvement in that crime. And Ms. Henson, you make a very valid point when you say this sounds like a celebration of what she's accomplished. And sometimes it might feel that way, but that's really kind of what we're supposed to be looking at. It's not necessarily who she was as a 17-year-old, but who she is today and what, if anything, she's accomplished, whether she has rehabilitated herself or not. And that's kind of what our role and what our responsibility is. We do look at the facts of the case. We do see that this is a horrible case. And while it's true, she wasn't the one that went inside and did the killing. She participated in it, and she was culpable of obstruction of justice. And she has taken responsibility for that. She testified in the trial against a co-defendant. She has an excellent record while she's been in prison. She's only had 2 write-ups while she's been there. She's done a number of very good things. Pre-release, she's taken some of the best programs that we have. And again, we have to look at her age at 17 years old and what happened then. She's got an excellent transition plan. The warden has spoke very highly of her. Taking all of those factors into consideration, my vote would be to grant her parole with the following conditions. Number 1, that she get the mental health evaluation and follow whatever treatment there is that recommends that she be on a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., that she obtain a substance abuse evaluation as well, just to make sure that there are no issues there, and that she do 5 hours of community service work. I would like to point out that she is low risk. She has a mental health issue that I also want to address. So that would be my vote. I'm one of 3 votes. Ms. Wise.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Caitlin, again, to the victim's family, my sincere condolences to you. And I do echo Ms. Marabella, your courage to participate in the process is valuable. It is valuable. Caitlin, today we've had 2 prior cases, and the victims haven't heard what was said in the deliberations, withdrew their opposition. You didn't get that. You didn't get that opportunity. And you're 29 and you're young. So I can imagine. But you did a great harm, and you said that. You've healed, and you've been helping others. And I think that there's no opposition from the judge. That speaks volumes for me. So I concur with my colleague. My vote is to grant as well, and I concur with the special conditions that's been outlined. But you had all this support when you were 17, and you got pulled in with another group. These folks have said today they're here for you. You go to them when things start happening, because they won't know. That's your responsibility to go to them and tell them, I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with that. There's no dumb question going for it. You got to let them know. And I don't know if you had the parenting class. It's really hard when you first get out and you have to take care of yourself and then try to take care of a child. So you make sure you navigate that with all the support that you need by asking for it. He's 9. He may not understand. You walking into Walmart and freezing up, because I hadn't been, and the world has changed a great deal in 9 years. But you have to say it out loud and let your family know, because they're there to help you. Don't act like it's all together when it's not. When it's not, say so. That's what she said.
Thank you.
Freeman. Thank you, Ms. Wise.
Okay, Ms. Caitlin, real quickly, and I should have asked this, do you have any contact with your ex-boyfriend?
No, sir. I've ended all contact with him.
Okay, and his son doesn't either?
He has the option, but I let that be up to him.
All right. I look at this and, it's like my colleague said, you didn't go in and pull the trigger, but, you knew everything that was going on. But you have done well, and you were 17 when this happened. And that was the age that you can easily be influenced at. My vote today is going to be to grant with the same condition.
Ms. Lusage, your parole has been granted with the conditions that you get a substance abuse and mental health evaluation. You have a curfew, 5 hours of community service work as well. Good luck to you.
Yes. Thank y'all so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.